Leonidas Fields, and he is a federal prisoner. He has been in prison for at least 50 years. I'm hearing 53 years and counting. So the topic today is, when is justice enough? Is it 10, 20 years, 30 years? When does a person need to come out, or when is a person redeemed for their wrong? How long do we keep a man in prison? So he went in his 20s and he's now in his 70s. I just don't know what you could do that you need to be in prison for 53 years. So I have some of the family members, some of the loved ones and friends, and we want to kind of delve in his story and kind of talk about this and the process it's been for him in prison and still having faith to try to come out. So we have his nephew, Mark Fields. We also have your friend and a brother Maurice X.
That's correct.
And then we also have his fiancee, Miss Tangela, who's still trying to come in. So we're going to delve into his story more or less and kind of bring back the layers about how we can help him come back. We want him to come home. That's really what it all boils down. Can we have a conversation about him coming home? And whatever that might entail, even if they put requirements at 70 years old, he is not a threat to society. There's not many 70-year-olds that are. They're in a part of their life where they should just be living happily. So, Brother Mark, do you remember your uncle when he went in, or?
Well, since I was a kid, him once a month.
Okay.
And since I was a little boy.
So since you was a little boy, you visit him once a month?
Right.
In prison?
That's right.
Wow. And so he's been in jail all your life, most.
Right.
Okay.
All my life.
All your life. And so has there ever been a process that the prison system has said, okay, we're going to let him out, or it's always been he goes to parole and they say no? Is that the process?
Well, he was actually granted parole in 2012.
Okay.
He had nowhere to go because none of his family would take him in. So he ain't had nowhere to go. My father couldn't take him in because my father had a felony in the past.
Got it. And then his mother was in a elderly facility. Am I correct?
Right, Branchwood Towers in Clinton, Maryland.
Okay, and his mother's still living. I want to tell the audience that she is still here. So we would love to deliver her son to her.
That's right, 93 years old and going strong.
93 years old, beautiful, beautiful.
3 years young.
Wow, amazing. And so he had parole at 2012. Nobody for him to come home to. So now we're in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the story about parole and coming home now? Because now he has a place to come to, his fiancée, Miss Tangela Brown.
Right. Last time he went to parole, he was denied.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out why was he granted parole in 2012, but he didn't have nowhere to go. Now he has somewhere to go, so why is he being denied parole? He has a parole hearing coming up this July. I'm working on getting him a lawyer now.
So in July, there's another parole hearing.
Right.
He has a place to live when he comes out, if Correct. He comes out in July, right?
Correct.
He's been in jail for 50-something years, and Correct. They were going to parole him in 2012. So he's been in a process that they would have let him out.
Correct.
So we hope in July that's going to happen.
Correct.
Okay.
We're trying.
Okay, so you're getting him a lawyer.
Correct. But he had a lawyer in earlier this last year, but because he filed a motion for compassionate release because of his age and his physical condition. He has health issues, arthritis.
Wow.
And with all these younger inmates.
Yes.
Federal prison at 72 years old.
And I've spoken to Mr. Leonidas, and he told me that he's been in the same facility for 35 years. That is hard. That's almost unknown for a federal prison. They move them around
That's
all
correct.
the time. And for him to be in one prison for 35 years, that hardly ever happens. And so that's saying that they are familiar with him. He's really not a threat.
That's right.
And he can be here. Because they move prisoners around so they don't get familiar, so no one can come and know where they are. But he's been in one place for 35. That really doesn't happen in the federal system that I know. From I've talked to ex-prisoners, I've talked to people who've been in the system, I've talked to assistant warden. That hardly ever happens. So
and then on that they mistreat them. Like when I came to visit them, they mistreated me. They treated me like I was a prisoner.
Okay.
They him to make stuff hard for him. And they had him on hour checks. He hasn't been in trouble in over 20 some years. He hasn't had any incidents in all these years, but they have him on hour checks and they mistreat his guests that come.
That's unfortunate. So he is being mistreated. He's been in a place for 35 years. You would think he's familiar with the people, but that's not happening. There's some mistreatment going on. Well, unfortunately, when you are a tool of the system, they do what they want to do with you. It's so unfortunate.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's based on race.
Yeah. And he's a Muslim. We got to talk about, we live in America. So he's a Muslim, a member of Nation of Islam. I know that is not something they're happy about. And, talk about Muslims as if they're creatures. There's something wrong with being a Muslim in this country. So that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. So, Brother Maurice.
Yes, ma'am.
As we hear we hear he's been in for 50 years. We hear what's going on with him now. What is the action plan? What can we do to help him with this process?
It's like what we're doing now. We have to get it out there. And I know the last time I did speak to Leonidas, he was just telling me, how they were trying to make him take the vaccine. And that may also be something that's prohibiting him from being released. But, like Mark said, how can you parole somebody and now years later with no incidents, not parole them again? Like, how do you get denied? And for me, we have the wraparound services ready, when he's available to come home, the workforce development training, life skills, PRP, one-on-one therapy. He has everything ready for him, including a place to live. So for me, 53 years, I mean, who can't? It takes 30 days to break a habit, I believe, right? So how can you not have rehabilitation after 50 plus years? I mean, his mom is waiting for him to come home, and I'm glad she's still strong.
Me too.
But, enough is enough. We've been mistreated as Black people in the justice system for so many years. He served his time. He did his time. And he's been rehabilitated. I mean, he's a minister in a facility as well. So, it's just unfortunate that we have to fight this way. But if it was me, I wish I had people fighting for my freedom as well, especially when, he served his time plus some. So At this point, we have to do whatever we have to do to get it out there. And, continue to just try to give the family some hope. I would be done with patience personally, but I would at least still want to try to give the family hope. And that's what, on my behalf, and what we're trying to do to support him as well. So
that's admirable. I do have to ask a question, because I think it's a question that needs to be asked. Being a part of Nation of Islam, how have you guys assisted him in this process? Why can't, and Nation of Islam has their own lawyers. You guys are a amazing institution, and you are an institution. So institutions has layers, lawyers, accountants. Why haven't there been some assistance from him on that level from the Nation of Islam?
Well, I know for me, I just found out about it, and brother Elliot, who goes to visit him in the prison, has been working with him. He's limited as far as what he can say outside of the prison, because that's just something he can't really, because he goes into the prison, he can't have interaction with him outside of it. But once I found out, that's when I contacted you. I contacted Mark and also his fiance, and I've been in communication with them, and just trying to do what I can do personally. Now, before knowing what was going on with this situation, I know Brother Elliot was definitely trying to help him, and before that, I don't know. I'm still freshly new with the nation. I just crossed over and did.
Okay.
And I got my ex in October. But for me personally, I don't want to speak out of text, so to speak. But I know that Brother Elliot has been the main brother for Muhammad Mosque number 6 in communication with him. We just sent them some Qurans and stuff like that because he's still in there teaching. Last time we spoke, he wanted to get some stuff so he can still teach. And I'm going to do whatever I can at this point. I'm not sure. And I referred the attorney to Mark, but I'm not sure if she contacted him back because I got the referral from one of the sisters with the nation that highly referred the attorney. So and if that one doesn't work, I'll find another one. But at this point, I'm just willing to do whatever I got to do to help him get out.
Got it. Because, that's a question I have to ask. So I was really wondering.
Yeah, no problem. And we need to make this more known. I spoke to my captain, my brother Andrew, as you know, and we're trying to, do what we can do on our end. And it's been a topic of conversation. So it's not like, we're sweeping him under the rug or forgetting about him at all. And I'm just trying to do everything in my power to relay every message I get, every bit of information that I get through my chain of command. The next step is going to be, we're going to have to make the power move. We're going to have to, because this brother needs to be home. And it's really just that simple.
It's just that simple. I mean, it's nothing that you can say to defend this type of incarceration. I think he might be on track to be the longest federal prisoner in a very long time. This is state time. Federal prison.
I can believe it.
Yes, federal prison time usually ends. You do it to the door and you get out. State time is that time that's forever, and it could be 2 lives, 3, but 53 years in one prison and 35 years in one prison. That's
unheard of.
Unheard of, and it's not maximum security. It's not that type of movement. That's something. So I don't understand. I don't understand why. That's what I don't understand. So Mark, I think you have to unmute. Mark,
yes.
Since you're back with us, your uncle. So when I spoke to him, he said to me that he did participate in the actual crime, and that he's sorry about it, and that he think he's done his time. And that's admirable of him to say, listen, I did this, I take responsibility, but I've done my time. And he doesn't even have he was convicted with 2 other people.
Correct.
And he said he doesn't even know where they are.
Do you see the article I sent you?
No, I didn't get an article.
The article. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, so what's the article saying?
It's saying 3 men went in there and they found 2 weapons, and the other 2 guys confessed. And Uncle Lee went to trial and they found him guilty.
Got it. So he never confessed to the crime.
Nope.
The other 2 confessed to the crime. And the hardest thing about this type of conversation is not to have the person, and so we're talking from a place of trying to communicate the wrong. And I just want to state, because he's actually in Delaware, am I right?
Pennsylvania.
So he's actually in Pennsylvania, so which is a Commonwealth. And so we want to try to appeal to the state of Pennsylvania, to that prison, like it's time. And Brother Maurice is saying he has services available when he comes out of prison. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
When a lot of people come out of prison, they're lost.
Absolutely.
So you got the wraparound services, because he's going to need mental health counseling.
Absolutely, everything.
Yeah, he's going to need all of that. And you said why can't the state take all of that in consideration and a place to live?
I agree. I totally agree. And after this call, I'm definitely gonna I have to speak to Brother Elliot as well, because it's time is of the essence. It's just that simple. Time is of the essence, and
of the essence.
We have to do something like immediately.
Yes.
We gotta get this brother home.
Replay called Justice for All. Have you all heard of that? Justice for All. Well,
it's not. We're Black people, and we're clear that there's not justice for all.
No, it's not.
That's something you hear.
What they're trying to do is expose everything that's going on and try to get brothers to start taking action and not just taking what they throw at us.
Just settling for whatever numbers they throw out there. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate, and I'm so sorry we can't get this Miss Tangela on, because she actually goes to visit him very often.
That's correct.
And she just can't get her camera on, and I don't even have any sound. So that's so unfortunate that she can't be on the call, because she brings a whole nother light to the situation.
I'm trying to get the camera to come in.
Oh, there you go. Well, just talk to us. Okay. So, Miss Tangela, do you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you heard the conversation. Okay. So how can you contribute to him actually coming out? He's going to stay with you.
Right. The first thing is, when I met Leonidas Fields in 2019, my number one main concern right from the beginning is that he come home. Lee and I had a process of trying to find a lawyer. This was another situation, because, we're not rich. Yeah. So he finally told me about Minnie Harper. Upon his request, I got Minnie Harper to do a motion. And him and I both were thinking, after 51 years, and this motion went up to Oklahoma, that it would not be an issue with him coming home at all, because I had already planned things here for him. I had already had bought clothes for him. Everything that I had planned for him, I did. And Brother Maurice and Brother Elliot and Mark told me all what they could do. Okay. When the motion came back and they denied the motion, both of us was really upset. And I can't even explain how upset I was, but he was more upset than I was, because he was expecting to come home.
Yeah.
What I didn't like, didn't really get a complete straight answer as to why. Because what is on the motion papers and what actually went up, it should have had him coming home. If he's been up for parole every year, particularly the year 2009 is extremely important. That was before I met him. He had a place to come to, which was his sister. And then for some reason, she changed her mind. I don't know why. And he didn't come, because he told me that they had said there in Allentown in that parole meeting that he was going to come home. But then when she didn't go through with it and said he couldn't come there, that put him there even longer. Okay, so now it's 2019. The first thing I did within 6 months of meeting Leonidas, I had all his paperwork and everything changed here. Everything. Okay. So I had said to Minnie Harper, I said, I specifically asked you, when I paid out this money, was he going to come home? This was the only reason that we had decided to pay this money. Okay. And she said that she would. That didn't happen, and it's still not a clear cut answer as to why. Now she did a second motion, a G4506. That's the motion that she's done now.
You said a G4506?
G4506. That's the motion that she said that she has sent up now. That's what she told me.
Okay.
In a text message. I have all her text messages, and that's what she told Leonidas. We have not heard anything back from this G4506.
Okay.
So we're still waiting to hear that. When you go to visit him, like Mark said earlier, they're not nice, they're rude. The first visits, when I went up there, we were all sitting in a room at a little table, and I just reached over and put my hand on the table, and he reached over and put his hand on mine. Correctional officer said, no touching, no touching. And I said to him, I said, I put my hand on the table. I was the one that like reached over for his hand. He didn't reach over for mine. They are very racist.
Very
racist. Okay. Also, they listen to our phone calls, which you all know that in federal prison. Mm-hmm. So 3 weeks ago, he said he was called into the office and that they didn't like what I was saying. Okay, what I was saying was exactly right. Because when I talked to Leonidas, I start the conversation off with, how are you doing? I love you. How are you? And I say to Alan Wood, if you're listening to this conversation, the only thing you're going to hear is encouraging words, love, and kindness. Mm-hmm. So what are you calling him in the office for if this is what you're hearing on the federal phone calls? There's nothing wrong with saying that. That is a total mistreatment of a person because they're an inmate. I don't like it. I voiced it, and I said it.
Well, he told me that they just don't like him. That's what he told me.
Well, you know what? I don't know if it's that they just don't like him or not. This is what I do know. Inmate or not, you are not supposed to be mistreated just because you're serving time. It's called human decency.
That's true.
And no matter who it is and why it is or what it is, you are not to be mistreated.
That's true.
Now, that is something that I'm going to stand up for regardless of how any of this turns out. I'm still going to stand firm on that because number one, I know better. And number two, I know it's not right. And because they have not been addressed and taken up on the issue, they keep doing it and get away with it. Well, this is the thing that Phil says. They don't like you, don't like that. I said, no, it has nothing to do with that. First of all, liking or not liking should not even come into this. You should be home. You should have been home 20 years ago before I even met you.
That's true.
You should have been home. No one stays in a facility for 36 and a half years in the same facility. No one does that.
That's true.
This lawyer that keeps calling that wants $15,000, he was saying that he basically, and I have it here in writing that he sent it. So I don't know if he knows how valuable that information is, but it is. They are punishing him for really thinking he was going to be gone and outliving. He said in there that Leonidas Phil's genes were really good, and now they're punishing him for just continuing to live. Why shouldn't he live? Why shouldn't he be home? So that whole statement of that, I don't like that. That is not how you think or say of a person. So, as of now, I'm going to see how much longer it takes this G4506 to come back, so to speak.
So let me ask a question. So she's still your actual attorney?
Leonidas Fields said that Minnie Harper had gotten 2 people off up there in Allenwood. 2. Uh-huh. And that's why he gave me her number to contact to get his motion written up and sent up to Oklahoma where it happened at. She did do that, but she didn't get him to come home. And she is not an attorney. She works in a research firm that does motions. She's not an attorney.
Oh, she's not an attorney. Okay, so
that also So see, when Leonidas asks me to do something, my natural common sense and business sense clicks in.
Okay.
I really wasn't sold on Minnie Harper, but because he asked me and he wanted me to have her, I did it. But I had some reservations about it. But I said, okay, it's been 2 years, so I'm going to move forward with it because he asked me to. This is what we talked about. Because I know I went through 7 attorneys right here in Baltimore City, Black attorneys and white. As soon as I told them what the case is and what the case was about, they didn't want to help me. They didn't want to help me. Warren Brown ought to be ashamed of himself. He's supposed to be one of the top criminal attorneys in Baltimore City. And he's flat out said no and said, I can't help you. Okay, then why didn't you give me an explanation in writing why you couldn't? So I'm not going to support anything that Warren Brown is doing, nothing.
So my question is, because, you know, the problem with these systems, Ms. Tangela, is that they're incestuous. And that the prosecutors and the lawyers and the police officers and the DAs, they all know each other and they all participate in the same arenas. So they're friends and they're all making money from these prisoners. Let's be clear. The lawyers are, the DAs are, and not to indict them, but when it comes to real work, when it comes to a case that probably needs real work, they don't touch it. And it has implications that they might be afraid of. I don't know what that is about, but getting a lawyer that will, can you go to like the Innocence Project or something like that, where there's a lot of pro bono going on? He's not innocent per se, but he's been wrong to be in prison for this long. Do you know?
I don't know about the Innocent Project. I haven't researched that, Queen. Okay. I would have to take time to really research that. And when I say research it, from the time I get up in the morning until I go to bed at night, that's how I would have to research it to find out what the Innocent Project is and if they're going to really be able to help him. Because as far as I'm concerned, as of this date right now, I want him home. I want him home. This has gone on far too long for him to still be incarcerated. He's going to be 73 this year. 2 more years, he'll be 75. So that's not acceptable. To me, it wouldn't be acceptable. And just the being inhuman, the uncompassion of that doesn't sit well with me at all.
I know. That's why you guys are here with me tonight, because when Brother Maurice called me and said 53 years, I'm like, for what? And what is it? And then it's not state prison, it's federal time. So I'm like, well, why is it so long? And what is the explanation? And everything he told me just doesn't make sense.
None of it's really adding up. And see, Leonidas, because he's been in there so long, he really thinks in his mind, oh, they just don't like me. It's way more than that. And like I said, anybody that's serving time, local, state, federal, city, whatever, you still treat them like a decent human being. If they're doing what they're supposed to do and follow the rules, then you talk and you address them a correct way. You don't take advantage of people and do things to people just because they're serving time. See, that's a real sore spot with me, because when he tells me things that they've said to him and all like that, the first thing I say to him is, one, did you report it? And I tell him, I said, they are not supposed to be talking to you that way. They are not supposed to be using that type of verbal language to you. Now, I know that to be a fact.
You know what, the thing about these type of institutions, that is the truth. But the thing about these institutions is, first of all, they can cover themselves because you can't bring any phones in. You can't tape what they're doing. They're not going to incriminate themselves. They almost have carte blanche to treat you any way they want to treat you, because they don't have checks and balances. That's why this system is so insidious, because once you get in it, It's very hard for you to have anything or have any humanity subjected against you. What do you think about that, Brother Maurice?
I just first want to commend Miss Tangela for like just her due diligence, and
yes,
you know, we've had several conversations because I have an uncle that was incarcerated for like 33 years federal time. He's locked up with John Gotti, Larry Hoover.
Wow.
So I'm familiar with this type of situation. But you know, to me, I just really want to put on record, like I just commend Sister Tangela, because to have to endure this, I mean, I want to say that I'm glad he doesn't have to go through it by himself. He has a significant other.
Yes.
And for, you know, to put in the work that time and money.
Yes.
Like she said, nobody's out here rich. You know what I mean? But it's just unfortunate. But like, it's time to stop saying those words now. Let's flip the script. And, you know, just sitting here listening, you know, to Miss Tangela speak, and Mark and yourself. It's just, I'm sitting up here running through my mind. Like, I know Maya Moore has a program that she helped inmates get out. She just married an inmate.
Yeah, she married the first one that she got out. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one that she got out. So I did send an email over to
I'm
them.
going to start looking for those type of things and send to Miss Tangela. Like, I just looked up the Innocence Project. They have a 188 number.
Right.
I'm going to, the services that I know about, and I'm going to try to talk to some people in the system to see, because in July, you got to have everything in place, because they're just going to say no again.
Right.
That's their thing. They have to be pushed into this.
Absolutely.
You understand? And so I want to find out, how can I help in some way and find a way, because it's not particularly he's innocent. He's been wrong. Once he's
been wrong over a long period of time.
He's been wrong. What he's done
long period of time.
He admits to doing his infarction. And now he's been a good prisoner for 40 years.
Right.
Why are you mistreating him? What you doing that for? If somebody been around you, someone been around you for 30 years, wouldn't they be the person that you form a relationship with in the prison, who would be your main man? Because he's been there 35 years.
And for me, I spoke to Brother Elliot yesterday, and you know, I told him I was letting him know how everything goes, but you know, like the question you asked,
why hasn't the Nation of Islam been more active? Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So like for me personally, I'm taking that personally because I heard his voice. You know what I'm saying? It's different for me. Like I said, I'm still new with the Nation, but maybe this is something that I need to also bring out so that we can, you know, get more support.
Because they have a fantastic lawyer. They got some fantastic lawyers.
We're gonna. I'm gonna.
I've come in contact with them. I've seen some of their lawyers. They are brilliant.
Absolutely. I've heard of some as well. And you know, for me, what I'm gonna do is just, I gotta relay this message. I gotta relay this conversation. I have to relay everything that's going on.
Okay.
Because we have to do our part. You know, and we're gonna do our part, and I know that we will. I'm only speaking for myself.
Miss Tangela is taking on a load that not only that she can't bear. She needs help. You know, she needs a lot of help. And family doesn't seem as if they're going to do much to help. Mark is, you know, they should have had a place in 2012 for him to come. So, you know, Mark has been Mark has definitely been a cheerleader for his uncle, and he's trying, but Miss Tangela and Mark is the only two that I know about.
Right. And that you know, if we have to get the family involved, the Nation involved. It's going to take beyond a team effort. You know what I mean? And you know, and it's just that simple. And
it's that simple.
You know, I promise to do my part. You know, anything that I can do, I'm going to do. And I mean, like I said, I talked to the brother, and you know, just the sound of his. I mean, for him to still be, you know, he has his ups and downs, but for him to still be positive and still wanting to teach and still wanting to just stay positive at the 53 years.
But bruh, when I talked to him, he almost had me crying, because he said to me, that, Sister Queen, I'm tired. I give up. I said, let me tell you something. I said, because someone has taken your freedom, your mind is free. You don't let them take your mind. You stay free in your mind, and we're going to try. We're going to try our hardest. I said, but if you give
That's
up,
right. That's
none
right.
of us are here. None of us can give up. I said, don't give
Yeah,
up.
I definitely told him that.
Yeah, I said, your freedom might be theirs, but your mind ain't theirs. You know, and so you
that is true. That's so true.
Yeah, you keep that mind free. I know it's hard. And I told him, I can't.
Absolutely.
I've never bared your burden. It hurt my heart so when he said that, because I told him I can't bear your burden because I'm not in prison. I haven't been there for 50 years. But you cannot let those people take your mind and how you feel about Leonidas. If they got that, it's over. And he said, I'm gonna try, sister. I'm gonna try. And you know, it just touched me like, man, this man is tired. I'm tired, and I only known about it for 4 months.
Right. Yeah.
I am freaking tired. So I cannot even understand how this man feels. I can't understand. And so to try to tell him to just keep the faith, we're gonna try everything we can. And I just think we gotta do it, guys. We gotta try everything we can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do what I can do as far as writing to him, accepting his phone calls, trying to put commissary on. I'm going to do all of those because those is kind of like little basic things and all. But I knew when I paid that money for that lawyer who was the lawyer, I knew I was tapped out financially. So that's why the Innocent Project and whatever project can come forward with, that's probably going to be the avenue, because the justice system is not fair and it's not going to be fair. This is obvious for someone who's been in prison for 51 years. It's not fair. I mean, that anybody can see that that's just totally horrible.
It's horrible.
You know, I had even said to Minnie Harper, you know, what about a halfway house? I mean, you know, at least try to put that in, because a halfway house, there's a halfway house here in Baltimore. He come to a halfway house, he could at least be on that pathway, as you said, to have mental counseling, working job. He needs all of that under one umbrella. Okay, and then he comes here to my home. So she said, look into it.
We have a brother saying he has that in place. What can the state say?
Yeah, that's the thing. If they didn't, I mean, the thing is, you know, okay, if you still have reservation, I don't know why you would have a reservation about a man that's 72 years old, but even if you did have a reservation, why didn't you release him to come to a halfway house if he's still on probation, and then transition him from there to my home?
Yes.
They didn't even do that. So that's totally not something that was even addressed. But I addressed it because I asked a lot of questions. And sometimes my questions are not always perceived well. They're not always taken well, because sometimes I ask the hard questions and then, you know, I look you right in the face. Okay,
that's right.
You know, but that's okay. I can do that. I can do that. Because I know what I'm dealing with, how I'm dealing with. That's what I was telling you, Queen. I deal with white people better when they leave me alone and stay out of my face. Because, see, number one, I'm educated. And when you come with that laddygaggy stuff, especially I work for Baltimore County now. Okay, so, and I'm the only second Black in the whole school. So number one, I'm going into an environment where you're not used to seeing Black faces. Two, I'm smarter and probably do have more education than you all do. And I don't need to be Aunt Lucy and yes, man, I'm not doing any of that at all under any circumstances. And so when you come with this little stuff, can you do this and can you do that? I tell myself, what were you doing before I came here? You better do it. If you want bus duty, if you want lunch duty, you better get out there and handle that bus duty and lunch duty. Now, in extreme circumstances, if you really need me, I might, but just because I'm the only second Black teacher in this school, I don't particularly want to do bus duty or lunch duty. Where's the people in place you had in there before I came? Oh, well, Miss Brown, that's
gotta stand up for yourself.
You gotta stand up for yourself, Miss Tangela.
Don't worry about it.
She's definitely a fighter. She's a fighter for real.
She's a fighter.
Whoever you had in place, you better try to look them up real quick while I'm over here teaching children who want to learn. That's what you need to do. Because they tried every day. And like I said, you know, I'm going to tell you something. Before you know it, you will be down at Board of Education in Towson, and you'll be explaining to them why you're in my face telling me anything. So that's how that goes.
And I'm definitely going to speak, you know, to Brother Elliot and the rest of the brothers as far as commissary. You know, we got to put together and send them something as well. So that's already just some of the things that's in motion that we were planning to do. Like I was telling, you know, Queen and Mark that he asked for pictures. So I've accumulated about 200 photos that I'm going to go through. I'm not going to send them all those at one time, but I'm going to send them, you know, probably 10 a piece because I have to go through, just make sure some photos, you know, can't be in there with them because, you know, Brother Elliot, he's meeting with the chaplain, by the way. So he's trying to work through the chaplain in Allentown, PA, and trying to just do whatever we can do at this point on our behalf.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you guys are in communication. That's very important. And I promise, Ms. Tangela, whatever I can do when it comes to kind of getting you need an outside lawyer, maybe pro bono, that can help you with, because he's actually been in a prison where he's being mistreated. And then he's been in prison too damn long. Let's talk about that. So
he's been in there too long. He's been mistreated while he's in there. You know, you have people out on the street walking around that's committed worse crimes and stuff than they could ever think about. And they've been out and been home.
Yeah.
And back again and back home again.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So what they're trying to say and what they're doing does not make any sense to me whatsoever. And I don't even try to pretend that what they're saying makes sense and stuff like that, because I know it doesn't. And I know that you're doing the wrong thing. Prison or no prison, like I said, if people start being more accountable and start even writing letters to the ward and all that stuff like that, and keep doing it, although you're inmate and all like that, some things would change because they would realize there'd be some eyes on them. When I go up there and visit Fields, I watch everything in and out of that building. And if someone comes up and says something to me, and all I say to them, stay your distance. Stay your distance. You can talk to me from there. You don't need to come close up to talk to me. Stay your distance, because I'm walking over to this car to get ready to drive back to Maryland. What are you coming out here asking me? What are you asking me? Wow. Oh, no, we just want to make sure. Well, no, just like I came here, this is the way I'm going to go back to Maryland. I don't need you to ask me how I'm doing or assist me with anything, because I don't trust you. Okay? So
that's an intimidation factor that they're trying to do.
That doesn't work with me. Because the more
I know it won't
try to intimidate me, the more that I'm going to be sister soldier, and I'm going to bear down on you hard. So you need to walk and keep a safe distance away from me, and I will do the same thing to you. So that's what I tell people, especially when I see people talking and they're coming up close to me. You don't need to come up close to me to talk to me. I can see you and hear you from where you are. You don't need to do all of that. But you know, again, Queen and Maurice and Miss Kay, who's joined us, you have to let people know that right up front. You need to let them feel your spirit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need to let them feel your spirit. So they felt my spirit. They've read all of our letters. They've listened to all their phone calls. So they know who I am. I'm not someone that's going to be timid and yes, this and yes, I'm not doing any of that.
Well, Ms. Tangela, do you have the email to the warden? Do you have that information?
I had the address and stuff here that I will send to you. He doesn't actually have an email. They deal with letters. I don't know what the situation is about an email, but they have letters and stuff like that. So I will send that.
Yeah, they have to have an email. That's state requirement.
I've never seen an email on any of his letters. I've never seen an email, which I find that kind of strange.
Well, then
this is Leonidas now. Excuse me. This is Leonidas calling now.
Oh, okay.
If y'all want to email him, you just gotta get on Core Links and send it, or give me your email address, and then I'll send it to him. And then
like this.
Mark, well, Brother Morris, I don't want to get him in any trouble.
No, it's okay. He can speak freely, Queen. It's
okay, because we really can't hear him that well. He sounds like
right. I didn't know because he was in a federal institution that he could speak on the radio.
Yeah, I thought he would have to get some type of clearance. This is internet radio, and I don't want to get him in any situations that he's not. He's already in.
Fields, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna try to do is move forward with.
So I just think, Brother Maurice, the good thing, let's try to get, and that you guys are going to deal with some of his commissary, right? And I'm going to try to forward her some of the information to like entities that can help him pro bono, because I think there's not a lot of money out here.
Okay, they're talking now, so let me hear what they're saying.
But he's been in prison for 53 years.
Yeah, call me back.
I don't know about a federal prison sentence that long.
So I've never heard of that.
Me neither. So I think that the project and someone else would love to hear his story.
Okay.
Right, and I'm going to keep doing some more research as well. Right. So,
because by July, we want them to be in a place where they like, you can be paroled, whatever.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then if she can give me the information to the warden, I would love to write him a letter.
I'll get that out to you. It's I wasn't able to get it out to you this week because there was so much going on with, but this weekend I'll be working all of that. I'll be working on the pictures. I'll be working on the address and other stuff too. I'm also going to send you some letters. I had discussed this with Fields. I'm going to send you just a few letters that he wrote to me, so you can also kind of get a feel for him of his writing and what he says on the letter in between the lines.
Yes,
I think that's very important, because once you read those letters, you'll understand kind of how his spirit is feeling.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about, if you go, I don't care who you are, if you go in front of, and people keep rejecting you, you internalize that. I don't care who you are. And then he's in a situation where he's already in prison, and they keep telling him no, no, no. So
it kills your spirit. But
it kills your spirit.
That's
And once your spirit, they come after your spirit, it's hard to get a person back, And so I'm just real concerned about his mental health. I
am too.
And his physical health.
I am
about that too. He's not a young man, and prison ain't for old people. Prison ain't for nobody. Let's be clear.
Right. Nobody. That's true.
70-year-olds, in being a place for 35 years and watch it rot around you. At some point, you start rotting. It's just too much. And so, Miss Tangela, we're going to try to help you as much as possible. Brother Mark, what about your family? How can they assist in this process?
They're not helping. They refuse to help them.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Right.
So it's me and Mark. Mark. Mark knows how I feel about that. I had said something to Mark that, but see, this is my situation, and this was before I met Lee. He has a mother that's living, a sister that's living, and a brother. Now Ralph does things too. He does things.
Who's Ralph? That's the brother?
Yeah. Ralph does things. Okay. But it's basically been Mark. Mark has been the one that's really been doing all of this stuff until I met him, because Mark has been his nephew all his life. I just met Fields in 2019. But Mark has been the one that's really been there doing for him. And I had said to Mark, Mark understood me. We weren't mad or anything, but I said to Mark, he got a living mother, a living brother, and a sister. I know the three of them have enough money. They could have got him a very good lawyer and got him out. All I've heard is excuses. Am I right, Mark?
That's correct.
Yeah, all I've heard is excuses. So now if a little black girl like me who doesn't have anything can get a motion up, get an attorney and do something, I know the 3 adults of them can do it. And they have the money, they could have all put together and did it just like that. That's very easy. So I don't know what to say about that because sometimes people, I won't say all, but sometimes people use certain things as a crutch. And you should not be using your brother or your son's life as a crutch. He's been in there for 51 years while you've been all out going on with your life, and you haven't did anything to put up to say, hey, we are a team, we're a family, we're going to fight until he comes out. That hasn't happened. It's only been Mark. And I have come in, you know, in his much later years, but it's only been Mark. So I don't understand that when I've asked the questions about it. From his mother, I got kind of like, oh, I've done everything I can and all. Well, no, you haven't. Okay. I sent the card to his sister, just a regular Easter card. I sent the Easter card to his sister last year. I told her who I was very nice. And I called her to say hello to her. And her husband answered the phone and said, she doesn't want to talk to you. Okay, that's fine. But let me tell you something. You're all going to have that on your conscience. Whether you want it there or not, that's your flesh and blood. So I have never reached out to her anymore. I don't call Leonidas' mother either. Only person that I talk to is Mark.
Is Mark. So now we know. We have Mark, we have Miss Tangela, we have Brother Maurice, and we hope we can get some more resources from the Nation of Islam. And whatever I can do with it, trying to funnel some things to you, I will try.
Okay.
I just don't know how. The lady who's the legal help, who's gotten people off, she has to know actual attorneys at some point. You know, you would think that she would, you know, have a team of legal minds.
She has a team of legal research people that she works with, that she does. But, you know, my daughter is very smart. As soon as we told her to name Minnie Harper, my daughter looked Minnie Harper up, and there was some complaints about her. Reviews, negative reviews about her. So, you know, that's why I've been very careful for 2 years. But because Leonidas asked me to use Minnie Harper, I did what he asked me to do. But I had some reservations about it. I had some reservations about it. But I didn't want to disappoint him because he told me that she gotten 2 people off. So when he told me that she got 2 people off, I said, oh, okay. And I asked him,
their situation. Was their situation mirrored?
I don't know what their situation was, Queen. I don't know what their situation was. But she knew what Leonidas' situation was, which is all that matters. So, and it didn't happen. Like I said, we're still waiting for this G4506. And we haven't heard anything back from that motion as well.
Well, do you know exactly what a D4506 is?
I do not. I looked up the D4506. It's just another motion. Okay. It doesn't even go into clear detail what it is. Mark, do you know what the G4506 motion is?
I do not.
Okay. So
this is legal stuff.
Okay, my daughter is going to express it. Go ahead, Denise.
So without me just kind of jumping in here quickly, that motion is, if I'm not mistaken, when he got his time, he had served more than 6 years of his allowed time. When Minnie Harper filed the motion, he filed the wrong motion that was for a law that was previous to Mr. Fields getting his time. The motion that he has now filed now honestly should work and come through because the date match and he has served over the amount of time with considering that law in that motion.
Got it. So the time served for what he's done has been 51 years. Am I clear on that?
That's correct.
Okay, but he's actually served 53 years.
Yes. Now, the thing is, he has a life sentence. Life is just that, life. However, under the compassionate release motion, it should have been granted. If he can get compassionate release, then he has served more than his time. But it has to be all granted under the correct motion, which has now been filed. That was not the correct motion that was filed the first time. Under compassionate release and the new motion that was filed, there is no reason that he should not be able to come home, because according to that, he has served over his time. And also, at that time, he was sentenced, life was 25 years, not life.
Good. Okay. So when you have a life sentence, you have to serve 51 years, you're saying?
No. I mean, when you have a life sentence for federal, it means just that.
It's life to the door. That's what I'm thinking, right?
But he got it, his life with parole.
But his life, even though his life was parole, however, when he was sentenced, life at that time was not life. It was 25 years.
Oh.
Yeah, and now you talking about in the state of Oklahoma, correct?
Correct.
I did read that.
So in the state, because I'm trying to be clear, this is great information. So in the state of Oklahoma, life at that time when he was convicted was 25 years.
Correct.
So now he served double that? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, he has served up there.
So that puts a different light on the whole situation.
That's changed the whole game. I mean, he served double what his requirement was when he was convicted, because we can't go on what now, but when he was convicted. Am I correct, Ms. Denise?
Yeah.
Wow. So now we might be something with an Innocence Project, because now you've doubled a sentence that you should have been paroled out of.
And if he was eligible for parole, you can. If he was eligible for parole, and he had an address, and he just needed someone to come home, why was he denied parole? If he has nothing changed, he hasn't been in any trouble, so what is the risk that now you're going to let him come home when he didn't have an address, but now that he has somewhere to come to, no issues or anything like that, why is he not able to come home?
Even if he's not going to come home to a household, there is a
transitional home.
Yeah. I mean, you have the pre-release. You know what I mean? So it's
pre-release centers. Yes.
Other
Why
place where
can't they do that? What is it? But not only, I don't understand. Okay, if he in 2012 he could have come out, and then you know the motion you sent me, Brother Maurice, that I read. It had all of these reasons for denial. You understand what I'm saying? They wanted to, they denied about the vaccine. They said that he had to ask the warden first. All these conditions for release, but he's already been paroled. So why is there conditions? I don't get it.
So the conditions are because of the compassionate release. Now you have to follow the guidelines for compassionate release. So now we're outside of the parole is parole.
Okay, so this is something different now.
Yeah.
Because he asked for compassionate release, you're saying.
Yeah. So he now has to follow the protocol that goes with compassionate release. If Lemmy Harper would have found the correct motion, then maybe or maybe not. However, when I spoke with Lemmy Harper directly, he told me honestly that motion or not, that they were not going to allow him to come home.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And see, that would make me say, well, why did you take that money to if you knew?
If you knew that, why are you taking their funds?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I stayed on her for a little while about that because I let her go. I saw what you found, and she told that's not right. That's for
Right. Wow.
Wow. Well, this is multi-layered.
It is.
It really is multi-layered. Miss Tangela, we're definitely going to be in conference, because I'm going to try to do whatever I can in my way.
Okay.
I know that you are out with your wife. We appreciate you. Tell your wife congratulations from graduating from Morgan State University.
Absolutely. I will do that again.
And
sure.
I will be in touch with you.
Okay. And I'll be in touch with you guys as well, whatever I can do. Like I said, I'm going to relay everything that we just spoke about, you know, to my leadership, and we have to put forth effort to get our brother out of here. It's just that simple. Yeah. And I'm glad I'm involved, whether I'm new to the nation or not. Even if he wasn't with the nation, I would still feel the same way.
Yes.
You know, so we have to do something immediately.
We got to help this out. She can't do this by herself.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
I look forward to absolutely, and I look forward to talking to everybody again.
All right, Maurice, I'll keep in touch with you, Maurice, during the week through text or phone call.
Absolutely, you always have, and I appreciate you, and you know, to Mark and you and everybody that's involved, just keep pushing, and let's just keep doing this together. Yeah, we can't do it apart.
We're going to move forward to the best of our ability, because if nothing else, I do know this. There's a God above that's got control of all of this.
That's right.
Something's going to touch down in the spirit of that's going to be right. And there's nothing that a prison, a warden, or nothing's going to be able to stop it once that comes.
That's right.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah.
But I definitely look forward to talking. Heat on that, though. We got to put some heat on there. We got God. Now it's time for some heat.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So they need to know that he has some heat behind him. Enough of this.
That's right. That's right.
So that's
thank you, guys.
Thank you, Maurice. You have a good night, brother.
You too.
Thank you, Maurice.
All right. Okay, y'all.
All right. Brother Tangela and Sister Tangela and Brother Mark. We're gonna stay definitely in contact, so we can try. I mean, because we only got we don't have long. June is right around the corner.
Yeah, June is in
it's
about
2 weeks away. 2 weeks away. Next
about 14 days.
Yes, ma'am. So we don't have. It's not like there's a lot of time. We got a month to prepare for this July parole, and we want him to come skip right out of Pennsylvania into Maryland.
Right, that's true.
That's what we want to do. So we got to galvanize and see what we can do. Miss Tangela, I'm going to look for all the services out here to help prisoners.
Okay.
And send that to you, because I think the Innocence Project can get a good letter from you.
Yes, they can. I will be detailed about it.
I want some advice to you know, like a road for you to get on, because it's a lot of dead ends, and these dead ends got to open up.
Yeah, that's true.
Know, and because lawyers seem like they don't want the case.
That's why they acted to me. I went through 7.
They run it.
See, when you don't, and when see them tell you something about lawyers, when you don't give them any money, they kind of out you. Okay, well, that shows you what type of character you have then. Because if you can't listen to what I'm saying and I'm explaining to you that this is a matter of someone's life that's been in there for 51 years, well, then I don't want you anyway. And you have showed me just what type of nasty character that you do have. See, we have power more so than what we know. Because I could go and say, hey, look at these 7 lawyers I went to, and look what they said to me. And hey, I'm going to hold this letter up and you can look at this. Now, if I go into mainstream TV with that, and people who have had them, they've had them for clients, they were saying, oh my goodness, well, what happened? This couldn't be. Oh, yes, this is. This is the same lawyer that represents you. This is the lawyer that you think is so good. Look at what they said. Okay, so because you couldn't get any money and profit off of our anguish, you didn't want to take the case, which then you probably should have taken the case and stuff, because it probably would have went forward. But because you're money hungry and you don't have the spirit of a good character, you didn't take the case. Okay, so you know what I think about you. And you probably don't want to come too close to me to hear anything else that I'm going to say about you. I'm going to be direct and extremely blunt, and then I'm going to hold the documentation up to go with that.
You know what, Miss Tangela? These
so you shouldn't have
lawyers,
went there.
the only justice in America is how much money is in your pocket.
Yeah, but that doesn't work for me because
It's
I know when all the money is gone, what do you have?
You have nothing.
You don't like to have a conversation. Right. You don't have an intellect to have a conversation. So then what would it be? No, I don't agree.
That's why we're in this fight, because lawyers, they're in it for that cash. And so like I said, we're going to keep in touch. I'm going to do the best I can and with the people that I know.
Okay.
And try to get some answers, like what is a good path for you.
Okay.
It seemed like the paths that you've been on are they're not leading to anything. And we have to July. We don't want this man to hear another no. I don't think I don't think it's going to be good for him.
Well, we're going to move forward to the best of our ability with everything that we do have. And like I said, I will send you those letters and that address and some other things so you can see the type of stuff. Sometimes when you read letters and you kind of feel the spirit of what somebody is saying, that gives you even a more clear insight as to how that person is and just kind of what they have been going through. I can't even stand to be in a room less than an hour or so like that, let alone to be in a cell for 51 years. I know I couldn't do it under any circumstances.
51 years in a cell.
Yep.
It's more than my whole life.
Yes, exactly.
I just cannot even, and to be in jail for 53 years is more than my life. Yeah. I just cannot phantom that for anyone. And we all make mistakes, but does the justice system have any, do they have any humanity?
Right. And you know,
20 cannot be the same as 70. You just can't.
Right, that's right. Because the thing is, this thing about white privilege, because it's a white man, that doesn't wash with me either. Because when white people kill white people, they get less time, more so. But when a black person is even involved in anything that's white, it's all this time and stuff like that. So you're wrong 100% around the board. You're wrong. Because you're not dealing and giving out equal amount of time for justice. Where's the justice in that? There's no justice in that.
It's their system, unfortunately. You know, it's their system. And that's what we have to realize. We're living under a system that's not made for your own humanity. And what we cannot be caught up in this. We got to teach our children, we cannot be caught up in this system. It's not a system that has any love for you or has any any humanity. So we got to find a way to help brother Leonidas and hope that we can defer children from going into a system that's so malicious. Yes. It's a malicious system. It's incestuous. The wardens, the police, the DAs, they all know each other. So it's an incestuous system. It's a money-making system. And it makes money off people's lives. And so
off of people's unfortunate circumstances. You know, from this circumstance. So that's something that I don't like. I don't care who it is. I
don't think any human should go through that. You know, never mind a black man or a black woman, but any human. It's just a very inhumane system across the board. It's set up, and unfortunately, you have a family member in it, and we got to work to get them out of there. That's the bottom line right now. Yeah. Yes. Well, I'm gonna go ahead. I have some paperwork I got to do to get ready. I'm ending this call. I just wanted to tell you thank you for your story, your time. I wish your camera was working, Ms. Tan.
I'm sorry about the camera. Well,
I so appreciate you, Brother Mark. Thank you for your diligence with your uncle. You know, the love of a nephew is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I really, you've been on me too. I'm like, you my lieutenant, Mark. But I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. And so we will keep in touch, guys.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Ms. K. I don't know who you are, but thank you, Ms. K.
Ms. K, thank you so much. Kay is my dear friend, so I'm so happy she came on.
Thank you, Kay.
She said welcome. So listen, Black Box this week, boxed up and out.